I am not going to preview any sanctions action or sanctions or potential sanctions action from here before it happens.
Right, but he's doing this on a daily basis. I mean, he's in rhetoric, in actions, in every which way. I mean, he joined the settlers. He joined them 3 weeks ago in the Jericho area and so on, and was actually doing physical, acts with the settlers. So why not, let's say, include him in such sanctions?
I will say that we have made quite clear what we think about certain comments that minister has made and certain actions that he has taken, and we have engaged directly with the government of Israel about those comments and those actions. But as always, when it comes to any potential sanctions action, you never hear me stand up here and say that we're going to do it or considering it before we announce it publicly.
Okay.
That is just a blanket rule with respect to everyone. I think you've been covering this department longer than I've been here and are familiar with it.
And true to form. I mean, back in January 2023, your predecessor, I remember that the issue of both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir were raised, and whether they're going to be, put on a list of, persona non grata list or something like this and so on. So this is not a new issue. It's been around for a very, very long time with these two particular persons. Why not? I mean, since their actions have spoken a lot louder than their words in the last, whatever months, 17, 18 months. Why not include them in such sections? And this way it would be binding.
So we continue to engage with the government of Israel about policies that those ministers impose with which we disagree, and other actions that the government of Israel takes with which we disagree, in the same way that we engage with governments all around the world about actions that they take with which we disagree.
Yeah.
As it comes to a sanctions thing, I'm just not going to get into a debate about why we will or not do something. It's because it's not something that we ever do. With
one exception, as compared to other governments and so on. I mean, next week we're expecting the Prime Minister of Israel to come to this town. It will probably be a love fest in Congress. There will be a lot of standing ovations and so on. It doesn't matter, but he enjoys the support, and he supports these two particular ministers. So, I mean, where's the beef, so to speak, in these?
So again, as I've said, Saeed, when you come to specific policies that those ministers have promulgated, you have seen us engage with respect to those policies. So when it comes to, for example, the suspension of transfer payments to the Palestinian Authority, when it comes to the potential suspension of correspondent banking authority, you have seen us engage on those policies and seen us engage successfully to get those policies reversed, and that's what we'll continue to do.
One last question about Gaza. There was an analysis in Haaretz that says, the Palestinians were quite hopeful. There will be a deal, but now they've lost hope. Can you update us? Are you as hopeful as you were last week? Did this hope dissipate in terms of arriving at a deal and so on?
We continue, I think as I said the other day, we continue to be optimistic but also realistic. Optimistic in that we've been able to reach a framework and overcome some of the very real disagreements that we were facing just several weeks ago. But there are still issues that need resolution, and we continue to work to resolve those. I can only I can only imagine what it must be like to be living in the midst of this conflict, and how much the people of Gaza must want a ceasefire to be reached. And we understand the suffering that they are going through, and that's why we are pushing so hard every day on behalf of the United States, with our mediators, with the government of Israel, to try to bridge these final differences and get a ceasefire, because we realize that it is an urgent priority for those people who continue to suffer.
And my last, I promise.
It's like 7 or 8, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the last one you said was the last one, Saeed.
Okay. Knowing what you
no one else has their hand up, so I'm not, cue 10 hands, right? Go ahead, sorry.
Knowing what you know now about the course of this latest round of negotiations, now, if it falters like the others have, will the onus be placed on Hamas as you guys did in the past, or would it be placed on the Israelis?
I'm not
knowing what you know now.
So I'm not going to deal with a hypothetical. We're trying to get a deal, and if it breaks down, we'll deal with the circumstances as they're presented to us at the time. But I'm not going to speculate about what those circumstances would be in advance. Go ahead.